Banana! Hey everybody, this is Alan here reviewing Minions for Razzle today. A children's movie that has the chance to be entertaining for adults too. Let's see if it can do that. Minions, of course, is the spin-off prequel that follows the little pill-shaped, Twinkie-looking little guys in Despicable Me, the movie that involves Gru and all of his adventures, and they're kind of the side characters that kind of add a couple extra laughs. In this movie, you see them 42 years before, I think I said 42, roughly 40 years before they're working, or the events of Despicable Me, and we see them going through and kind of going through their lives trying to become like the minions to a really big master. When you talk about the Minions and you think about them as the characters that they are, characters that barely speak English, just really kind of side jokes in the Despicable Me movies, it does not really sound like they can carry a movie. And I would disagree. After watching Minions, I think that these guys are rather entertaining and actually can carry a movie despite the fact that they can't say anything that you'll understand. So how? How, Alan? How can the Minions possibly carry their own movie? Well, I'll tell you, audience. The Minions carry their own movie because throughout the entire film, they are surrounded by casts that can speak and by a narrator that tells their story. So we don't necessarily need to see them speaking, and it still doesn't get weird. Like, you'd think like, okay, well, after a while, you'd get tired of just hearing them go weep, beep, 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 whatever kind of thing they say, and that the narrator or the people talking around them, like, you'd think that'd get old. No, the Minions, for some reason, while they're talking, you can kind of understand what they're trying to say, and when you can't understand them, it's actually kind of funny as well. The great events of this movie are almost the slapstick nature of the Minions in general, because of the fact that there's so many funny things that they can get themselves into, and they're doing a lot of zany things, and there's a lot of really funny points. Some of them you'll see in the trailer, some of them you can see in the movie that aren't in the trailer, but overall, very funny, very fun, and I think that unlike a lot of children's movies, this one does bridge the gap. Like, there's some jokes that are in there for kids, obviously, the movie's for kids, but then there's some jokes that adults are gonna get that are more funny, and I think that this movie does, in general, bridge the gap for adults as well. Now, I will say this. If you did not like the Minions, the characters in Despicable Me, before watching this movie is not going to change your mind. If you've watched Despicable Me before, and you said, oh, those Minions are so annoying, I can't stand them, and you're so tired of seeing them on soap bottles and all those other things, food cakes, like all those things. If you're tired of seeing the Minions and you like think maybe this movie will change my mind, this movie will not change your mind. This movie is entirely driven on the same type of comedy that they exist through in the Despicable Me movies. So you will not grow to like the Minions from this movie. That being said, if you loved the Minions, if you bought the Twinkies with their faces on it, and the Tic Tacs, the limited editions, and the soap that looks like a Minion, you're gonna love this movie. This movie will actually probably make you like the Minions more than you did before. So there's an extensive plus side. If you do like them, you're gonna like this movie. If you don't like them, you're probably not. Couple other side points of things that made the movie good. Sandra Bullock as Scarlet Overkill was very good, and I believe John Hamm was her husband in the movie, and he was also very funny. Lots of points in the movie, very funny parts, lots of great voice acting. The only issue that this movie has is that it's limited by nature. The movie can't go very far because the characters can't be entirely driven through their speech or anything like that. They can't give great monologues, they can't give extensive dialogue between them and other characters, so the movie sort of loses itself a little bit in its comedy because that's all it can be. It can't extend past the comedy of its characters. The other characters can, but the Minions can't translate to a larger distance. So that's one issue, and the other issue is kind of in the fact that in the movie, it jumps around a lot, and it gets, I mean, it's supposed to be ridiculous, but it gets almost absurd in the way of how it all kind of meshes together, and it kind of loses you a little bit. But still, overall, I would say it's very funny for your kids, very funny if you are having to take your kids to a movie. I would recommend it. Overall, I'm going to give the Minions a 7 out of 10. Very funny movie that I think that the adults will get something out of as well. My sister certainly liked it, and she's 4, so good for everybody. That's going to be all today. This is Alan here reviewing Minions for Razzle. You guys all have a splendid day.